And now, are people turning to other forms of media because they don't trust it, because they're more entertaining? Who knows? Because they're more easily accessible? Who knows? But that is a great point. It's not like there was underrepresentation for the people that wanted Trump to win. There was representation, and that's a good one.
I mean, I think that there is truth to the idea that the right wing, when they say that legacy media, that's obviously an exaggeration. It's very much not true. And the reality is that there are kind of two types of media. There's a well-funded legacy media that does an enormous amount of reportage, and my show relies on a lot of that reportage. And so to not acknowledge that reality would be foolish, obviously. With that said, I think that if you were going to steelman the right-wing critique of legacy media, the examples I would use would not be the 2016 election. It would be Russiagate. It would be the coverage of COVID in 2020. It would be the coverage of Joe Biden's obvious to everyone with retinas and a prefrontal cortex decline in 2024.
Mind if I ask you to do COVID?
Okay, so the narrative on the right about COVID is that, yes, it was true that COVID was, at least in the initial phase, a very, very scary thing. And then universally, the media coverage focused in on the idea that if you were in close proximity to anyone, including outside, that it was going to kill you, that schools should be shut down, that the entire society should be shut down. But also, if you were outside in the street protesting for Black Lives Matter, it was totally fine for you to be outside spitting on one another for the proper cause. And that COVID suddenly discriminated on the basis of politics.
It was a once-in-a-lifetime pandemic, and we were covering it real time.
I mean, so was I, and I was looking at the same data that you guys were looking at, and that's fine. But I think the idea that that was not tied to a broader narrative about the public health establishment or about politics when it came to Black Lives Matter and the protests and the riots, or about the public policy decisions that were being made variously by Andrew Cuomo, hero of the pandemic early on, versus Ron DeSantis, great villain of the pandemic early on. Governor DeSantis, by the way, was like very deep in the data from very, very early on. I remember talking to him about it during the summer of 2020. But, again, if we're talking about the critique of the media, the basic idea here is not that the media don't do reporting. It's what they choose to report on and how they report it.
An emphasis.